Hey everyone, this is Daniel from PhoneArena with a video review of the Sony Xperia Z Ultra. This is the company's first effort in the so-called phablet category, and it comes with a bang confirming everything we hoped for since the first Sony Togari rumors broke out. The goalposts are always moving in this category, but in general it constitutes of phones with really, and we mean really big displays. Sony Xperia Z Ultra undoubtedly delivers in that respect, as it's the phone with the largest screen ever concocted, while still being called a handset of sorts. At a 6.4-inch diagonal, some might argue that the Full HD panel is more akin for a small tablet, and we wouldn't spend hours convincing them of the opposite. Sony is targeting a really niche market here with the Z Ultra. Yet on paper it still makes every effort to position its gigantic phone as a premium one. It's been thinned to the extent of being the most slender brand name handset out there, while keeping the waterproof certification we've come to expect from flagship Xperias lately. This makes it the thinnest IP certified handset, in addition to being the slimmest Full HD one. It was also the first phone announced with the powerful quad-core Snapdragon 800 chipset, and the first you can draw on with a pen or pencil directly on the display, so Sony has stuffed a lot of superlatives in the Z Ultra from the get-go. The first impression left by the phone when you grab it is the size, of course, though if you think about it as a smallish tablet rather than a phone, you'd be better prepared for the surface area that ensues in your hand, at least mentally. One-handed operation is very hard with that kind of width and length, and almost impossible if you have smaller hands. It is way taller and a tad wider than the Galaxy Mega 6.3 or the Huawei Ascend Mate 6.1-inch display, which should tell you what to expect from the ergonomics. Let's make a quick comparison. This is the LG Optimus G Pro, which is by no means a small phone with its 5.5-inch diagonal. If we put it on the Xperia Z Ultra though, it actually looks pretty small compared to this phone underneath that is almost a tablet of sorts. Like those two phablets, the Mega 6.3 and the Huawei Ascend Mate, Sony provides a way to scooch the keyboard left or right, so you can type with your thumb only. But the dialer, it only shrank from both sides, so it's equidistant from your thumbs, regardless of which hand you're holding the phone with. The second impression about the phone is that it's very, very thin. Sony already makes the thinnest tablet out there with the Xperia Tablet Z, and with the Z Ultra handset, it actually shaves off the inches even further, arriving at 0.26 inches, 6.5 millimeters, which makes it the thinnest Full HD gear at the moment. Sony's engineering prowess is really showing, as despite the svelte profile, it managed to seal off the internals against water with IP58 certification. That's higher than on the Xperia Z. So you can dunk the whole phablet in up to 5 feet, 1.5 meters of water for up to an hour. You can watch movies in the bathtub, take it out on the beach, or use it in the rain. The Z Ultra has you covered in this respect. The materials that Sony uses for the chassis aren't shabby either, as we get a scratch-proof glass back and hairline pattern metal framing top and on the bottom, with matching sandblasted aluminum rim here on the sides. The whole slab's weight is kept at bay. Those 7.5 ounces, 212 grams aren't impressive for today's smartphone standards, but considering we have this gargantuan 6.4-inch display, the weight is pretty manageable, more so if you compare it to the Galaxy Mega 6.3, which is all plastic, not waterproof, and still only negligibly lighter. All buttons are placed here on the right, with the omnibalance design, meaning a signature round metallic power lock key, situated comfortably ready for your thumb. The volume rocker is also well placed, and all keys are easy to feel and press without looking, with deep and pretty clicky feedback to them. Sony has placed a dock connector on the left, so you can place the phone in landscape mode in the separate magnetic dock, tilted comfortably for watching movies. While charging, for example, an LED notification light at the top here, and the right bezel area rounds up a very classy exterior, which comes painted in your choice of white, black or purple colors. We have the pretty white version here. The Unibody Z Ultra has a sealed 3000 mAh battery pack, but Sony managed to eke out a micro SD slot here on the right hand side, so that you can extend the internal memory amount if you run out of storage for your movies and TV series that are bound to be a staple on such a big screen device. Next to the memory card slot is the micro SIM one with a plastic tray where you can insert and take out the SIM card. And both are covered with this protective flap, which seals off the slots against intrusive water, just like the micro USB one here on the top left side. The flaps are very easy to pry open and then snap back into place. The 6.4-inch screen is a triluminous display with optic contrast and X reality. Behind all that marketing speak, you see a Full HD display that is simply better than the one you'd find on the Xperia Z, for instance. That's a relief, since besides the wider viewing angles, the display on the Xperia Z Ultra also shows more vivid colors than the washed out ones on the Z, thanks to the triluminous pixel technology. It's still not up to par with the best in terms of color and brightness shift when you tilt the phone at extreme angles, as you can see, but certainly better than what Sony treated us with before. At 1080 by 1920 resolution, there's plenty of pixel density to show, despite the never-ending screen diagonal. With 344 ppi, the Xperia Z Ultra is resolute enough so you can't spot the individual pixels from a normal viewing distance with regular vision, and this one you'll be holding even further from your eyes, simply due to the fact that the panel measures 6.4 inches across. The display is also sufficiently luminant at 445 nits peak brightness measured and with very good anti-reflectance coating, plus the optic contrast technology that bonds the cover glass to the LCD panel underneath delivers a more direct way for the backlight to go through. This further increases brightness, contrast and outdoor visibility in general. And that's on par with the best mobile displays out there, like those on the HTC One or the iPhone 5. With the biggest phone screen come big responsibilities to better utilize that real estate, and Sony has added another unique feature to help the panel do its thing. You can doodle directly on the sensitive display with regular pens or pencils you've got lying around too. This adds to the phone's functionality and at the same time helps it stay trim without a dedicated stylus silo. Surveys show that people rarely whip out the one that comes with Samsung's Note family, for instance, once the novelty of having it wears off. So Sony might be onto something here. The tip of the pen has to be larger than 1 millimeter. Sony says for the magic to work. We found out that the disposable ones didn't do the trick, as the pen has to be metallic, hence conductive as well. So you can't tap on a button or do handwriting with this simple disposable pen, which is no doubt all plastic. All pencils worked without a problem though, like this regular one, as you can see, and also this one. Works pretty well. The metallic part of the pen works, but if the tip is made by anything else, it wouldn't. And if you've got a metallic pen, no problems. It works without a hitch. You can delete by simply whisking like that. If you get a wrong letter, you simply write the correct one over it and the phone writes it up. Actually, we have superior handwriting recognition. The company improved significantly on the algorithms that come with the phone. As long as you don't scribble like a doctor with 20 years of practice, the phone picked up almost every word we wrote immediately. Let's try that with a pencil. As you can see, we are writing pretty bad. You have to be a little bit better at writing, and the phone will correctly pick up the word immediately. Sony actually says that it doesn't use any dedicated technology for this to work, just bumped up the capacitance, touch input sensitivity, and the results are pretty successful, although we have only English for now in terms of handwriting recognition. Actually, you can also tap on buttons with the pen or pencil. So you can, for example, attach something and send an email immediately or a text message without even lifting the pen or pencil off the display. The phone runs Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean from the box, covered with Sony's own Social Life user interface. The Social Life app comes with a handy widget which can take out on any home screen your social networking activity, news feeds of your choice, and other communication venues for easier consumption. Just look at how fluid and quick scrolling is with this record fast chipset. Thanks to the large screen real estate, Sony's interface spans on more columns than usual, so you get 6 icons in the home screen dock and 5 columns by 6 rows of app shortcuts in the main menu per page by default. This way, all your out-of-the-box apps fit on a screen and a half, but that's not the only UI enhancement aided by the big display. The pull-down notification bar now can fit much more connectivity switches and toggles at once, as they get situated on more than one row, while competing Android overlays usually have them lined up in one row, swipeable left or right. Landscape mode is thankfully present for the interface, which should be a must for all tablets. Thanks to the quick chipset, the UI gets seamlessly redrawn in landscape arrangement the moment you turn the phone sideways. Sony provides an abundance of tasteful themes and wallpapers to set your Xperia Z Ultra apart. And you can even match the external chassis coloring if you decide to do so with purple, white, black wallpapers, for example. The choice of widgets is also pretty extensive, and the main ones have matching interface design. Sony's small apps team is also present here when you press the multitasking on-screen navigational button. They appear docked here in a tray at the bottom, and you can fire them one at a time, resulting in a calculator, browser window, and so on and so forth, notes, and other windows hovering above anything else you're doing with the phone underneath. These can be resized by dragging the corner here. Their position can be changed quickly by just dragging them around, or close down fast when you need the whole screen area. Most Android apps also benefit from having the 6.4-inch diagonal, as you can fit much more information at one screen without having to scroll. As the first phone with Qualcomm's newest quad-core Snapdragon 800 chipset, the Sony Xperia Z Ultra delivers blazing fast performance. We can't say that Sony's interface is the lightest out there, but the phone just cuts through all the transparencies and transitional animations like hot knife through butter. Powered by 4 extremely fast Cry 400 CPU cores clocked at the astonishing 2.2 GHz per core. Add to the equation the new Adreno 330 graphics processor, and you can tell where those record benchmarks below are coming from, as the Z Ultra turns out to be the fastest mobile device we've tested so far. Sony has equipped the phablet with 2 gigs of RAM, so you can line up numerous applications open at any given time without feeling a thing, and the 16 gigabytes of internal storage, of which 11 gigs are user available, can be augmented by the microSD card slot on the side. As you can see, we scored 18,256 points on Quadrant, and the Z Ultra consistently tops our benchmark results database. With a 6.4-inch panel, the surface area is closing in on smaller tablets, so browsing on the Xperia Z Ultra is a very joyful experience. The blazing fast processor also shows its might here, speeding up rendering, panning and zooming, which are performed without a hiccup. Browsing and watching movies are two activities that phablets excel at, and the Z Ultra might be considered top dog here. Sony uses Chrome as the default browser, so if you need to see Adobe Flash content, you'll have to sideload something else. The phone sports the kitchen sink of connectivity options like LTE and 42 megabits per second HSPA plus modems depending on the carrier, plus Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, assisted GPS, DONA and FM radios, everything. The fastest available Wi-Fi AC standard is present on the handset, like on the flagship Galaxy S4 and HTC One, for example. And the Z Ultra is in fact the first octa-band LTE phone on the way to the first global LTE phone. It supports 8 bands, unlike the hexaband Galaxy S4 or Xperia Z, for example. Wired connectivity is carried out via the MHL port, which means you can hook up the phone directly to the HDMI port of your TV with the respective 10-bax adapter. As with previous Xperias, native DualShock 3 PlayStation controller support is present on the phone with this Xperia connectivity option in the settings menu. You have to hook up the controller to the phone with a USB on the go cable first, and then connect the devices via Bluetooth with subsequent connections requiring only Bluetooth pairing. And we've arrived to the best part about Sony's first phablet, as browsing through photos and watching videos on that huge display can leave you mesmerized for hours on end. The gallery has a simple grid layout with rich editing options for your photos, including a number of image enhancements and color effects you can lay on. We've got the Walkman branded music player, which sports the usual pretty minimalistic interface with song categorization, album art, and the Sense Me option, which sets your tunes by the mood they carry. Sony's sound enhancement set is present here also, with the Clear Audio Plus music mode and a dynamic normalizer setting that evens out the volume between songs. A number of equalizer presets are present, including slots for custom user-defined ones, though these get disabled if you choose the Clear Audio mode. The loudspeaker that is located bottom right is sufficiently strong and clear, though nothing exceptional even with the Clear Audio Plus mode on. Let's turn it off. And you can hear there's a significant difference, especially in the bass sound. The phone can chew through every major video format you load on it, and 1080p movies look gorgeous on that 6.4-inch screen in their native resolution. Sony's X-Reality tech kicks in while the video player is on, enhancing what you see on the screen by analyzing the footage and smoothing out the rough patches automatically during playback. We have to make a comment again here that watching videos on that giant high-resolution display is one-of-a-kind experience, as you can see. And thanks to the high contrast and low reflectance, videos look great even outdoors. Sony seems to have treated the Z Ultra as a tablet of sorts, rather than a phone you always carry in your pocket, as it has put the previous generation 8-megapixel Exmor-R sensor in it and deprived it of LED flash. There's a 2-megapixel front cam for video chat that is capable of full HD video capture as well. Still, the camera app interface lets you shoot with all the nice features of Sony's flagship smartphone units, like the ability to shoot HDR stills and video as well, and do quick sweep panoramas. There are also a number of color effects you can apply to your pictures and videos. The camera app speed and shot-to-shot times are pretty instantaneous thanks to the very fast processor. That goes even for HDR photos, as you can see. There's almost no difference between taking an HDR photo and a regular one. The phone merges the HDR shots with different exposure as fast as an iPhone 5, for example. The handset sports this superior auto mode, which unlike on other Xperias is pretty useful, guesses the situation pretty spot on, and is indispensable, for example, in taking close-up shots, as there is no dedicated macro mode on the handset. The pictures are sufficiently detailed for the resolution, with enhanced contrast and color saturation compared to the scene in reality. The only caveat is that the phone slightly underexposes the frames in sunlit conditions, even in superior auto mode, so you might want to bump the exposure a notch before taking shots outside in the bright sunlight. Noise levels are tolerable when there is enough light around, so you can experiment further, but when the light dims down, noise creeps up significantly, and low light shots don't turn out as well as they should be. And since we're lacking an LED flash, they can be improved other than bumping up the lighting conditions. Video is shot in 1080p resolution with enough detail and smooth 30 frames per second. Without dropped frames or excessive artifacting, its contrast is a bit too much though. For those who prefer plain and more natural visuals, the HDR mode looks more distinct and with more even exposure. So you might want to keep HDR on at all times while shooting video, as it doesn't affect the capture speed or the fluidity of the end result one bit, with the record-breaking processing power on the Z Ultra. Sony's first phablet leans farthest to the tablet half of that made-up word than any competitor out there. If you aren't worried about pocketability or one-handed operation, you won't be disappointed by the rest. The Xperia Z Ultra is an engineering marvel with very thin and premium waterproof design, which is the only thing saving it from being cold and unwieldy. It is also incredibly fast at everything it does, so once you go past the huge size, interacting with the phone is a rather pleasant experience. Granted, you'd better be the type that uses hands-free kits and has baggy pants or a purse, else talking on the phablet and simply carrying it around will be a nuisance not many can accept as a daily driver. Out of all phablets out there, the Xperia Z Ultra is undoubtedly the best equipped to meet what the future holds. The Samsung Galaxy Mega 6.3 and the Huawei Ascend Mate can be considered direct competitors in the 6+ inch category, but they aren't nearly as fast and premium as the Z Ultra, plus the Mega 6.3 is not that much cheaper to boot. Galaxy Note 2 has the advantage of a stylus silo instead of looking around for a pen or pencil, but it's not waterproof, and overall its screen is inferior, while the Diagonal now puts it in the light phablet category compared to the 6+ inch monsters this year. When the Note 3 comes out, it will be a better match. A closer to the 6-inch mark competition is the LG Optimus G Pro with its 5.5-inch Full HD display, which also has a fast processor and it sports an infrared sensor at the top, but is not waterproof, though it will be slightly easier on your pocket, literally and figuratively, than Sony's enormous slab here. The Z Ultra towers above all those phablets, not only in screen size, but in specs and design too. So if you've thrown out ergonomics and pocketability with the decision to get one anyway, you might as well do the full song and dance. If you can afford it, that is, as Sony's first phablet will run you more than most current flagship phones at launch. To sum it up, the advantages of this phablet effort are that it has the vast and quality screen with triluminous technology that Sony put on it with pen and pencil input right here. It is also the thinnest waterproof design and the thinnest Full HD smartphone out there, and it has a record fast chipset. The disadvantages are that it's larger than other 6-inchers, uncomfortable to hold and carry, especially if you have smaller hands. The camera on the back lacks flash and could be of better quality, and the voice quality in the earpiece is a tad hollow. This was a video review of the Sony Xperia Z Ultra from PhoneArena. For more information about this and other handsets, you can visit us at phonearena.com.